In Overstocked, players must stay up to date with the latest 90s toy crazes, fill their warehouse with the most in-demand toys, and avoid stocking the least popular.
Hey Meeple people, how's it going? Hello. And on today's vlog, we are going to be playing Overstocked by Play for Keeps.
This is a 2 to 6 player game that is coming soon to Kickstarter, coming this year to Kickstarter.
Yeah, this year. There's no specific date, but it's coming
specific date
yet. More towards the end of the year.
Okay. Everything that you see here today is not final form. In fact, they've already made significant updates to the artwork in the game. So things will look a little bit different, but I think the gameplay is pretty much finalized, right, Nick?
Yes.
All right. So like I said, it's 2 to 6 players. It's a hand management and commodity speculation game in which we are attempting to sort of speculate on different kinds of popular 90s toys. And some of these may look familiar to you. Like I said, the artwork is going to change significantly in this, but we've been referring to these as the TYs, the Furbies, the Yo-Yos, and the Tamagotchis. So what's going to happen is we are going to build up this sort of popularity area here with more and more toys. We're also going to be building our private warehouses with additional toys as well. And at the end of the game, we are going to score points based on the largest contiguous sets, both in the popularity area and in our own private warehouses. Now, the overall most popular toy in this section here is actually going to cost players points for anything that they have of that same toy type in their warehouse. But anything that is not the most popular toy, players will be able to score points for when we score at the end of the game, which is going to be after 6 rounds in a 2-player game, because we have 6 cards to start with. We don't get any more throughout the game, so these are all the cards we get to see this game. What's going to happen is at the beginning of each round, players are going to simultaneously select a card that they would like to play it face down to the table. When every player is ready, we'll reveal these cards. We're going to look at this number right here, and the lowest number gets to play their card first. So in this case, let's say that I have the lowest number. I have this 23 here. I can either play this to the popularity area, or I could play it to my own private warehouse. When I play a card to either area, I have to cover up 1 or more spaces that's already showing. So I could put this card here. I could put it here if I want to. I could come over here and put it like this if I wanted to. But as I'm placing these cards in either the popularity area or into my own private warehouse, I'm going to be covering up 1 or 2, but not more than 1 or 2 spaces. And at the end of the game, we are going to score points based on the contiguous sets of similar items. So in this case here, there would be 5 contiguous yo-yos, 3 contiguous TYs, and there would only ever be 1 Furby or Tamagotchi.
And don't forget, when you talk about squares, they have to be ones with crates in them, not blank ones.
Yes.
Blank ones just allow you to say, like, so in this case, there were only 2 squares here, so you could cover all 4 of these spaces, but you're still in the rules with the 1 or 2 squares.
When you are placing cards, the only other rule is that you cannot place crates on top of workers. So you'll see these little workers here throughout the game, and you can't bury them underneath inventory.
HR doesn't appreciate that.
I'm sure the workers don't either.
Yeah.
So let's get to it. It's a pretty quick game. Like I said, in a 2-player game, we're just going to play 6 rounds. At the end of 6 rounds, we'll add up all of our points, see who has the most, and that player wins.
Yeah.
Should we try it?
Yeah, and there's a lot of cards in this game, so it's going to be, a lot of high replayability.
For sure. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the 6 cards we're dealt at the beginning of the game, and we're going to decide which one we want to play first. When we're ready to play that card, we're going to play it face down to the table. When both players have played a card face down, we'll go ahead and reveal it, and then we will determine who gets to play their card first based on the number on the card itself. So Nick and I are each going to secretly select a card to play, and I'm going to shut up while I think about it.
Okay. No, please keep talking. I would love to. I would love to know.
All right, we've both got our cards ready, so we'll go ahead and reveal. I have a 14.
I have a 3.
Nick has a 3, so he's going to get to go first. Now, he can play that card either into his own private warehouse or into the popularity area here. How are you going to play your card, Nick?
I'm going to go ahead and actually play that in my area.
Okay, so he's adding that to his own private warehouse. I am going to... I'm going to do the same thing with my card, and I'm going to add this to this area of my warehouse here.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next round then. Oh.
It's really interesting that players see all of their cards that they'll get for the whole game at the start of the game. It really makes it quite challenging to figure out what is the most optimal way to play your cards.
Indeed.
1.
Wow, 28. I think you had it no matter what card I played.
Okay, I am going to... I'm going to play this here.
You don't say, Sarah.
I do.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and place this here.
Nikki. So right now, the Furbies and the Yo-Yos are tied for the most.
But if they end up being at the end of the game, if they were still tied, then you would look all over. Doesn't matter if they're connected or not. Whoever has the most, then will be the most popular. Let's go ahead and pick another card. What to choose? I will bury you in what were they called? The bears.
Oh, the TYs?
Yeah.
TY Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies.
I think that's what the bear tag is.
No,
I think it's the heart tag from TY
right.
Beanie Babies.
Okay.
I had a friend whose mother was convinced that she was going to be able to send her daughter to college based off of the girls' Beanie Baby collection.
Ouch.
She had hundreds of Beanie Babies, and she wasn't allowed to play with any of them. They had the little plastic tags to protect the TY tag.
I played with my Beanie Babies, and I ripped a lot of my Beanie Babies.
Did they have like beans spread everywhere?
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
It was kind of fun, but at the same time, it wasn't fun getting in trouble. All right, and
23 for me.
37. So you get to go first.
Alrighty.
Oh. Well, actually, it's not always bad going second because you get to see everything.
Nick.
Tell me all secrets, Sarah. Show me all strategy.
I'm not sure what my strategy is yet.
I totally have one as well. Yeah.
I think I'm going to do this.
Remember, you gotta cover over something.
No. Well, then, in that case... Nick.
Wahahaha.
We'll do that.
All right. So yeah. I'm gonna go making it so good. I don't like how close my Beanie Baby symbol is being threatened. So I'm gonna do this. So the yo-yos are the hot commodity now. Shh.
Well,
Shall we pick a new card? Yes, I do believe so.
well, Nick.
Well, Sarah.
I don't know what I want to do.
Me either, because a lot of my cards they don't have a lot of the same icon.
I know, that's kind of the boat that I'm in as well.
Huh. Which is interesting. So you really have to kind of try to fit them together.
So yo-yos have 4 icons on the board right now. Furbies have 3. TYs have 3. Tamagotchis have 2. But you're kind of betting on TYs.
Yeah.
And you're doing
a
a better job of it than I am. So I probably don't want to go all in on TYs, because then that'll just incentivize you to make them worth more, because you have more than I do. And I
A
wouldn't,
little bit of analysis process, I see.
I wouldn't threaten them if I was also going all in on them. Nikki.
Sarah. I think there's a lot of opportunity for AP to creep up in the game.
For sure.
Especially at the beginning. Because you have all 6 cards, the only 6 cards that you'll get throughout the entire game. And yeah, I just think that's difficult.
It is quite challenging. It's challenging to know how to play optimally in this game, in my opinion.
True.
And I like being optimal.
Indeed.
Sorry, I don't know what to do.
No, you're good. Take
I'm
your time.
keeping this one for later.
Okay.
So it's between these 2.
Sometimes I struggle between keeping cards with higher value numbers on them or lower value numbers on them, because sometimes it's nice to
We're gonna
have
do that.
the last say at the last round.
It's definitely interesting. It can really, really change what you're going to do with a card. When I play a card, I'm like, okay, well, I'd really like to be able to play this over here or over there. But then if my opponent gets to go first, they could totally change my mind on where I want to play it, no matter where they play it. Because if they put it over there and I was going to increase the size of something over here, then maybe how they played it over there changes my mind, right? Or if they changed how things look over here, then maybe I was going to play my card over here, but now it's not as good to play it that way. Anyway, my card is number 41, so you're up first.
Wow. I thought I was playing high card. Okay. Sarah. I feel like you're going to try to bamboozle me with some of this.
Me? Bamboozle you?
Shenanigans of messing with my Beanie Babies. I'm not trying to go all in on them too, because I don't know. I don't want to get screwed. I don't want to be drowned in Beanie Babies. It's a horrifying thought. Man, because whatever I do, you will react, and I'm not looking forward to that. So, I'm going to go ahead. If I could just rearrange this card. No.
Are you going to cover up some of your Beanie Babies?
I don't know, sir. You're making it very tempting. I'm going to do that.
Okay. So I'm going to take this one. I had a plan. Let me think about it. I think I am going to take this one. I was going to do something like this. Yeah, that. So that increases the size of the Tamagotchis and the yo-yos.
The yo-yos. I see. Okay. All right. Well, let's go to the next card. Oof.
It's going to have to be this one, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it.
All right, let's do it.
32.
36.
All right. So, I think what we're going to have to do is... Now, these 2 areas are blank, so I could play a card that covers all 4 of these spaces, right?
Yeah, because you're only covering 2 crates.
Okay. Well, we're going to do that, and I'm going to play this right there.
Okay. Sarah.
Nikki.
Man, those yo-yos do not want to touch them yo-yos. 6 for those yo. Jeez. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and
This game does make me feel nostalgic for some of the toys that were popular in my youth. I didn't have a Furby. My younger sister, had a Furby. I didn't much care for the Furbies, but yo-yos were very popular while I was in grade school. And TYs were quite popular for a bit while I was in grade school. And Tamagotchis were my personal favorite of all of these toys. I didn't have a Tamagotchi. I had some kind of off-brand thing that was very similar to a Tamagotchi. But it was a toy that I quite enjoyed as a child.
The last one, 34.
10.
You're first.
I'm going to play this here.
See, I really enjoy. Yep. Of course, that's a lot of.
Lots of TYs.
A lot of TYs right there. Well, I'm going to go ahead. Let's see. I have an opportunity here.
May I see your card?
Sarah's like, don't do that.
I'm not sure what you're thinking of doing.
I'm not quite sure myself. So, go ahead and do this.
Interesting. That's a good move. All right, hand me the score pad.
It's the final countdown.
All right, so we are going to start with Tamagotchis. Our largest contiguous set out here on the popularity floor is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are going to multiply all of our largest contiguous sets in our warehouse by 4. Nick's largest contiguous set of Tamagotchis is 1, 2, 3. So he gets 12 Tamagotchi points.
Cute.
Mine is also 1, 2, 3. So I get 12. Next is yo-yos. Now, yo-yos are the largest set in the popularity. So that's going to mean that yo-yos are going to cost us points. And so that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We both have 1.
Nick's has, 1, and I have 1, so we each lose 6. So we are neck and neck at this point. All right. Next is the, what are the gremlin things called?
Now I'm forgetting.
Furbies,
yeah.
All right, so the largest contiguous set of Furbies in the popularity area is 3. Nick's largest set of Furbies is 3, and mine is only 2. So he's got me here. So 3 times 3 is 9 for Nick. 3 times 2 is 6 for me. All right, let's talk about Beanie Babies.
Oh, the Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies out here in the popularity area. There are 3 contiguous Beanie Babies in the largest set. Nick has 5 for a total of 15, and I have 6 for a total of 18. And that means I believe we have a perfect tie.
Are you kidding me right now?
I don't think I am. 12 minus 6 is 6. 9 for you is 15. You have 30. 12 minus 6 is 6. 12. I have 30.
Oh my gosh.
And we tie. What's the tiebreaker, Nick?
Let's figure that out, Sarah.
We're not even sure what the tiebreaker
sure. We didn't
is.
think it would come to this.
We had exactly the same number of Tamagotchi and yo-yos. Nick had more Furbies than I did, but I had more Beanie Babies than he did. While Nick is figuring out the tiebreaker, y'all should tell us what of these toys was your favorite during the 90s. If you were playing with these kind of toys in the 90s, Let us know which one that you liked the best. For me, it was definitely my off-brand Tamagotchi. I don't remember what brand I actually had, but I really liked my little Tamagotchi.
So there might not be a tie break.
Oh
so
my goodness!
we
Maybe
get to
there's
share
no
the
tie break.
victory.
Maybe we both win for the nostalgia of the 90s.
We were all winners in this game, Sarah.
I don't think that was a 90s thing.
No, that was
wasn't-
definitely not a 90s thing.
No,
but
it
hey.
was not.
So this is the score pad, and this is a little bit of the scoring. But yeah, it could. We played a couple other games before this.
We did. We played a couple of practice games, and I beat Nick in one game. He thoroughly trashed me in another game.
But yeah, I mean,
and in this game we tied.
In this game, yes, we were fencing, and we just yes. But
all right, should we switch over to the discussion?
Yeah,
portion?
let's go ahead and get into our final thoughts and talk about that. And yeah,
presto changeo.
Presto changeo. Hey, people, we are back for final thoughts. So, Sarah, let's start off with you. What did you think of Overstocked by Play for
Keeps, right? Play for Keeps?
Play for Keeps, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what did you think about this game from Play for Keeps?
I think that it's an interesting strategy game. I think that if you're prone to AP, there's nothing in this game to mitigate that in any way. So it's kind of something you have to be sort of self-aware of and try to kind of like self-police. I know for me that sometimes AP can be a struggle because I want to do the optimal thing. And in this game, there are a lot of reasons why it might be challenging to just kind of jump in and go instead of, sitting there and like really overthinking what you could possibly do on your turn, or even throughout the game, because when you start with all the cards you're going to see in the game, and obviously you don't see your opponents, but seeing all of your own cards means that for me personally, I felt like I could get really wrapped up in the potential that lay open in front of me. And so I personally needed to kind of be aware of my own, penchant to fall into AP and try to avoid that myself, because the game, it could very, very easily kind of force players with AP to either self-police or end up
yeah, it leans a lot more to AP, and AP prone players to have kind of that kind of problem of it coming up thicker in this one. So yeah, definitely AP is a thing to look out for. And if you're prone to AP, then you kind of here's a forewarning. But other than that, I mean, I liked the connecting all the icons with everything, like in the grouping that it was orthogonally. I also think it's another small game that it does well and doesn't take too much table space, but also great for traveling and all that. And I really enjoy these indie companies that we get to check out, and before the Kickstarters come, and hopefully get people excited and interested in these games. But yeah, I think it's 6 cards. 6 cards was really.
How does that change with the different player counts?
I don't think it does. I think it is just 6 cards. But you have more players.
Obviously.
So yeah, obviously. So everything will fluctuate more. But yeah, 6 cards, and your everything. And I think that's where AP comes a lot into play.
For sure. But I do think it's really interesting that you have the 2 different areas where you could play a card. And this, again, sort of lends to that AP a little bit. But for me personally, that was the most interesting part of the strategy, was figuring out what was the optimal place for any particular card. And because you have your own sort of like private warehouse where you could play cards, or you had this popularity area that everybody was influencing, it made the decisions feel always interesting, always. Because if your opponent did one little thing, no matter where they played a card, it had implications or potential implications for any card in your hand, no matter where you were going to put it. So, and I think that's why the AP hits so hard. It's because the potential for strategizing also runs really, really deep in this game. I liked the theme. I think it's a great theme for these mechanics, and I think it was fairly well implemented throughout the game. There's a part in the rule book that says about the most popular toy. So at the end of the game, when we scored negative points for the toy that had the most in a contiguous set, they said thematically that this toy was too popular now. The craze has peaked. Everyone is so done with this toy. Your supervisor would like to know why you ordered so much of it. And I thought that that was just a really fun thematic way to explain why they'd made the like mechanic decision to have that one. And they've done that with a few different things throughout this game. They've had reasons thematically that line up with the reasons you're doing things mechanically as well. And I always love it when games do that. It makes it so much easier for me personally to get immersed in that experience. It makes it easier for me to teach the game to other players, because if you can kind of get them in the right headspace, as far, if they can like picture what's supposed to be going on in a game, then I feel like it's easier for the rules to kind of like stick if they follow, you know, that similar that theme. So for me, I really love when a game is genuinely thematic, like when the theme and the mechanics are well meshed together. And I feel like they did a really good job with that in this one. It's very nostalgic, or it was for me anyway. I liked getting to sort of recall childhood experiences with these popular toys of the 90s, and every single one of them, I had something about it that I remembered from my own childhood. Like the Tamagotchis, I talked about that being one of my favorite toys from the 90s. My sister had a Furby. There were kids, you know, that I personally knew that had huge collections of Beanie Babies. There were kids at my school who knew how to do all the cool yo-yo tricks. So they picked four really great sort of quintessential 90s toys, which was hard because there was a lot of really cool toys in the 90s. But I feel like they picked four really, really good ones to sort of bring out in this game. And overall, I think it was a fun, neat little experience. It's very challenging game.
Especially when you had more players.
I'm sure. Yeah, we've only played with two. Like we've said multiple times, this can go all the way up to 6 players. And I imagine that with 6 players, things would get really, really chaotic, because you wouldn't just be having more players add to the popularity. You'd also be having more players' warehouses to sort of keep track of as well. Because that was one thing that for me in the game, I was doing a lot, was I was like kind of looking at Nick's warehouse and saying like, okay, well, he's really counting on Beanie Babies to, you know, pay out. So if I could manipulate the market so that Beanie Babies don't pay out as well, or if I can manipulate my own warehouse so that I also get out, you know, as much of the Beanie Babies as he's getting out, then like it won't be catastrophic, you know. And I think the more players you have, the more that could become like chaotic and you know, very thought-provoking and that kind of thing.
It was interesting when you started mentioning theme, because theme in this game actually really mattered. And also the icons and the things they picked for the theme, because I could see if they picked some newer things or maybe some different older toys that actually would miss the mark and actually would have heavily affected the game. And I guess this is kind of one of the first games that theme and what you picked and what the artwork actually kind of like affected, because I think about if it was something different, then oh man, like that would actually might have made the game like a less pleasurable experience for me.
It was definitely a very nostalgic experience for me. Like I said, every single one of these toys was something that I personally have experience with as a child and or as a younger person, and it was really fun to kind of recall all of those memories related to each of these different items, and it was, I don't know, I just think that added an extra layer of, of pleasantry, of fun to the game for me. Now, that may be because of my age, although you're a little younger than me, and I think it still resonated with you.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that. Like, what's this going to do for a younger or even older than us players?
Like I said, my sister had a Furby, but and she was aware of like the Tamagotchis and the TYs and stuff like that, but I don't think it was nearly as prevalent in her childhood. We were significantly far apart in years, and I don't think some of this stuff was nearly as prevalent in her childhood. And so I think with players much younger than us, or even much older than us, it may not resonate with as much pleasant nostalgia sort of feel. However, I don't think that that's a huge deal. That was a
Yeah.
pleasant little sort of side effect of the game, but the game itself, I feel like they could probably retheme this with something else and it would work just fine. I don't know what would be a better theme if there is one. I really like the 90s toy craze theme, but the mechanics are solid enough to where even if that's not a theme that excites you, if sort of like tile placement, if commodity speculation, if I wouldn't say take that necessarily, but if like high player interaction, if you like those types of games, even if you don't care about the theme, I would still give this one a try because there were a lot of interesting decisions that could be made. Like I said previously, every single time a new card was played, no matter where it was played, it had the opportunity to affect how you viewed the entire game at that point. And then that meant that the card that you were going to play, maybe you had been previously thinking, I'm going to play it over here. This is a great spot for it. Then somebody plays one card and it changes how everything looks. So I really think that even if the 90s toys craze is not a potentially attractive theme to you, if you like player interaction, high player interaction, if you like
Quick
games, if you like commodity speculation games, that you should definitely give this one a try.
Yeah. We'll have the BGG link to this game, and you can find out. I think they have the rule book up there too, so you can kind of see it for yourself, and some of the up-to-date artwork, possibly. But yeah, so this was our vlog of Overstocked by, I cannot remember. Do.
Hang on.
Here we go.
1 second.
One more time. Play for keeps. Play for keeps games. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Well, that was our vlog on Overstocked. Hope you all enjoyed it and catch you all next time. Toodles!